videos from all over the internet that's going to make you question reality. Let's just start.
This has got to be the weirdest thing I have ever seen. We have come to a point where fashion is literally not even wearing anything, because Kanye West showed up with Bianca Censori, his wife, and
This is
she
strange.
took
Why
off
would
her
you let
robe
your wife
and
dress
just
like this? This
showed
is so
the world
strange. I don't know
everything.
why.
All the cameras and everyone is just acting normal, like this is an everyday thing, and she's just strolling around the Grammys currently with no clothes on. I mean, at some point we have to draw the line. This is shortly after Kanye went on a rant on X talking about clones and saying some of the most absurd things I have ever heard. You can go check that out on his X if you want, but I knew something weird was going to happen at the Grammys, and it hasn't even started yet, so I'm going to keep you guys updated, but we are living in some really weird times.
My jaw is on the floor. I have no one to talk to about this. I'm just minding my own business, watching the Grammys red carpet coverage, Googling red carpet looks so I can make videos about cult members, celebrity cult members that are at the Grammys tonight. Just minding my own business. And this is what I stumble on in one of the red carpet look roundups. Kanye West is more like a celebrity cult leader than a celebrity cult member. Between the church he started, the school he started, the way that he has been allegedly in his relationships, and I've been worried about his wife, Bianca Censori, for a minute now. Her family has voiced concerns. Kanye West is a scary person. I didn't know he was still allowed at these things. Like, is this even legal? Like, the amount of time I had to stare at this, because my mind was literally just loading and processing what I was looking at it. First, I thought she looked like Kim Kardashian, because every time I see her, I think she looks like Kim Kardashian. Freaks me out
Very much.
Then I was looking at her dress, and I was like, is she wearing a dress with, like, a naked body printed on it? You know those t-shirts that have, like, a naked man printed on it, or bathing suits that have, it's just a print, but it's like you're completely covered? That's what I thought was happening. And I was like, did she get her own body printed on it? Like an idiot. And then I realized what was happening. There was also a photo, I couldn't find it on the internet. I saw it in someone else's video, and I didn't want to take a screenshot of their video, but it was them standing on the red carpet where she had her jacket on before she took it off, and the blank stare on her face was really concerning. Really, really concerning. I don't know why more people aren't, like, doing wellness checks on this woman. Like, this is scary.
Kanye West is at the Grammys for 2025, and people were not expecting Kanye West to be at the Grammys. And let's just say his wife, Bianca, when I saw her outfit, this is my expression on my face. I'm not even exaggerating. I'm trying to comprehend what I just saw. I'm trying to comprehend what my eyeballs just saw. I'm trying to process everything. What Kanye West's wife is wearing to the Grammys. Oh my goodness. Like, I should have been warned. Like, I don't even think Kanye West is going to be getting into the Grammys. Like, they're going to get kicked out. Also, like, how is it legal? Like, how is she allowed to just do that? Like, I literally need therapy after what I just saw. I have never in my life seen what she was wearing on a red carpet ever be done before. Definitely the most shocking outfit, if you even want to call it an outfit. Like, I'm just laughing. I don't know what to even say, you guys. Like, how does she even agree to do it? Like, I don't understand it. And I feel like people are, like, watching this video right now, like, having no idea what I'm talking about. But if you watch them on the red carpet, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. Because your jaw will be on the floor when you see what she's wearing.
Since the Netherlands became the first country to allow same-sex marriage in
Netherlands
2001,
started
many
it.
countries have followed suit.
Okay,
Thailand is the
know.
latest, where LGBTQ couples now have the same rights as other couples. Thailand remains an outlier in Asia, where only Nepal and Taiwan have legalized same-sex unions. The influence of different religions, ideologies, or repressive regimes across the continent mean same-sex marriage is opposed. There are many countries that have laws that criminalize homosexuality. The death penalty is the punishment in some, and there's no legal clarity in others.
3 mistakes that could make people respect you less and even walk over you if you let them.
Okay.
Tips from a psychologist. Whether it's with family members, friends, or colleagues, avoid these 3 mistakes when you interact with them. Number 1. Don't let them interfere in your business, especially when they question your decisions or try to advise you or give their opinions on things that doesn't concern them. Don't open the door for that, because the moment you do, they're gonna feel more entitled to question, judge, and even control your decisions. Instead, set clear boundaries. Use phrases like, I appreciate your concern, but I've got it covered. Or, I'm handling it myself for now. I'll let you know when I need your advice. Number 2, avoid over-explaining yourself. Because the more you justify your decisions or actions, the more you're opening the door for them to interfere, judge, or throw criticism. And number 3, don't seek their validation. Especially after you do or say something, or after making a decision. Avoid seeking reassurance. Questions like, do you think I made the right thing? Or, do you think it's a good decision? Will make you sound hesitant. Keep in mind, the more you act self-assured and show independence, the more people will naturally respect you and show appreciation. Follow me for more social psychology tips.
Don't sleep on this one. David Liebrick, a name you probably do not know, but a man who's touched millions of lives. He's held the most senior position in the Treasury Department that is not politically appointed for years. He basically runs the government's checkbook, our payment system. So things like Social Security, Medicare payments, tax refunds to government employees. This guy runs that $6 trillion of government money that goes out every year. Well, recently, a few of Elon Musk's allies that work in DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency with him, met with him and said they wanted to have access to this highly confidential payment system that very few people, even in the government, have. Well, he did not want to do that. And despite working there for years and years, he resigned on Friday. This is noteworthy for many reasons. Now, we don't know why this group of Doge guys wanted this access, but we do know this is another example of how Elon Musk and his allies, some of these guys who worked for him in previous companies, are moving more and more to have more control of our government. This one, I definitely thought you should know.
North Korean soldiers are reportedly gorging on pornography after finally being given internet access in Russia because they're used to heavily restricted internet that's carefully monitored by the regime. US intelligence has confirmed that up to 12,000 North Korean troops are being sent over to join Russia in the war against Ukraine. They have one of the largest militaries in the world, and this is their first major involvement in a foreign war, so the UN is very concerned. But a source at the Financial Times has reported that they're consuming loads of corn. The Pentagon's even addressed it, saying that whilst they can't verify their extracurriculars, they're only concerned with the more serious aspects of North Korea's relationship with Russia.
These are the biggest news stories from around the world this week. In Sri Lanka, thousands of protesters stormed the official residence of the president, and that comes after months of anger over how the country's leaders have mishandled the economy. There is some particularly amazing footage of protesters swimming in the president's pool. The president wasn't in the palace at the time when the protesters broke in, but he's since announced that he will step down. On Friday, Japan's former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe was shot and killed. He was giving a campaign speech at an event in a city called Nara when a man pulled out a homemade weapon and shot him.
There's a long time for me.
There's political upheaval in the UK as Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced that he will stand down. It all came about after pressure built over how much Boris Johnson knew about allegations of sexually inappropriate behaviour by another Conservative MP. Elon Musk pulled out of his $44 billion deal to buy Twitter. He said he was backing out because Twitter didn't give him enough information about the number of spam and fake accounts. But Twitter say that they're going to pursue legal action against him and try to force the agreement to go through.
They're finally saying it out loud for everyone in the entire world to see. Itamar Ben-Gvir, the Minister of National Security in ISI, was just asked by his son, Dad, what is the solution for Gaza and what is the solution for this very complicated issue? It's not complicated. And he verbatim said, to occupy all the land and to settle in all the land. And if you're wondering what's going to happen to the people who are living there, the natives, the indigenous, Palestinians, he adds, and of course, to encourage the voluntary migration of as many people, Palestinians, as possible to other countries. So the last 250 days of this G-side have been what? What? Is that his definition of migration? He said, only in this way we can solve the problem of Gaza. We need to live in security. Look at his face. Is that a person who's in fear? Is that someone who's afraid? This is a literal human depiction of a monster. Honestly, the entire video was pointless. He could have just said we want to ethnically cleanse the land and take it over. He really could have, because that's what's happening.
Ever wonder why the Europeans colonized the Americas and Africa and not the other way around? Like, why didn't the Incas sail over to Spain and plant their flag? One of the most important factors was complete luck. In the history of the world, only 14 species of large mammals have ever been domesticated. 13 are native to the Eurasian continent. Africa had 0. The Americas had only 1. These species provided lots of labor, fertilizer, and food, but they also gave Europeans another huge advantage: disease. Smallpox, measles, influenza, malaria are all diseases transferred to humans living in close quarters with animals. Now, they killed a ton of Europe, 90% of the Incan population, making Spanish conquest much easier. Another important advantage.
Right now, Libya, nobody even knows Libya. Frankly, there is no Iraq and there is no Libya. It's all broken up. They have no control. Nobody knows what's going on.
The world would be better off with Saddam Hussein
100%.
and Gaddafi in power?
100%. Now, as far as Assad is, millions of dollars to get Assad out with people that we have no...
This is why white people are afraid of black people.
I was brought up in, quote, Bedford-Stuyvesant in my time. But I would like to say what scares us is I think we hear violence.
The young lady said she died in honor, fighting for the Libya that he believed in. They would never have won if NATO was not bombing day in and day out. Brother Ali Baghdadi, that is a writer and a great Arab writer, said they bombed Libya back to the Stone Age. We were in Libya. We saw Libya being built from the ground up. We witnessed what this man did for the Libyan people. And for NATO to have bombed it like this, watch for Halliburton, watch for Bechtel, watch for the vultures of London, England, and France and others trying to rebuild the infrastructure that they purposely destroyed, which is against international law.
Thousands, and I mean thousands, of Slovakians have turned out in 20 different cities inside that country to protest the government right now, all chanting, "Slovakia is Europe." If you don't know what's going on here, I did a video earlier today breaking it down, but here's a quick little recap. Essentially, their prime minister went to go visit Putin, which you have to know he is very pro-Moscow, and then came back. And when he came back, he said a lot of very pro-Russian things, and then someone in his own party started coming up with the idea of like, well, maybe we should leave NATO, maybe get like further away from the EU. And of course, everyone in the country's like, oh, no, that's not going to happen here. And then we saw the prime minister accuse someone in the opposition for trying to overthrow the government, saying that that person was just trying to kiss the ring of Zelensky, which is like, wait, what? But the bottom line is this: the Slovakian people are a part of EU and NATO, and they want to be. They don't want to be any closer, not even remotely close to anything Russian. And so that's why tonight, thousands and thousands are protesting. Like right now, just in their capital, 60,000 people are in their main square protesting. So I say from all of us here in the United States, you guys rock, fight the good fight. I'll be sure to keep you guys updated on everything happening, so be sure to share my videos and follow me for more.
Electronic tattoo. So I'm wearing one here on my arm.
Do we have a camera to get a...
This is a developmental system. Made by MC10. And it has an antenna and some sensors embedded in it. And what we plan to do is work with them to advance a tattoo that could be used for authentication. Now, I'll let you hold it. Would you like to hold it?
I'll hold it.
Okay. So, this...
You guys see it?
This pill has a small chip inside of it with a switch. It also has what amounts to an inside-out potato battery. When you swallow it, the acids in your stomach serve as the electrolyte.
That's what do it.
And they power it up, and the switch goes on and off. And it creates an 18-bit ECG-like signal in your body, and essentially your entire body becomes your authentication token.
Really?
Yes, it's really true. So what this means is that becomes my first superpower. I really want this superpower. It means that my arms are like wires, my hands are like alligator clips. When I touch my phone, my computer, my door, my car, I'm authenticated in. First superpower. Like, I want that. This is not science fiction. This pill was actually made by a company called Proteus, and they've developed it for medical applications. That pill has been CE stamped and cleared by the FDA. You can take 30 of those per day for the rest of your life.
And then what happens? Does your heart beat change? Does your
We can just tell that you've taken the pill. I mean, the medical the medical
Does
application.
Google now know everything I do and everywhere I go? Because let's face it, we like you guys, but you're from Google.
Just give him some water and let him take that pill right now.
Thanks.
Who turned Africa into a dark continent? It is a question which I never have found an answer to. There is no more beautiful a continent than Africa, as anyone who comes here finds. But you had to convert it as an image of a barbaric continent which had to be relieved from its own culture, from its own history, from its own. Who created the term witch doctor? As if the medicine, which was a part of the cultural history or of the history of Africa, was part of witchcraft. We have been taught the language of subservience. We have been taught to hate ourselves. In order to create the other, in order to create a rationale for power and for empire building.
We can't make this shit up. Just had to evacuate the plane because the tire blew as we took off. This is a United flight.
Is it that they are not, checking up all the servicing the plane
and
well?
Mexico's
It's crazy.
leadership just made a colossal mistake. Both are now
Probably
launching
these
tariff
people are not
wars against the
servicing the
United
plane
States,
well.
with Canada imposing 25% tariffs on $30 billion worth of U.S. goods starting Tuesday, followed by another $125 billion within 21 days, while Mexico is planning its own retaliatory measures. If they think they can push the U.S. around, they're in for a brutal lesson. Trump won't just match their tariffs, he'll probably double them, likely slapping 50% tariffs on Canada and Mexico that will send both economies into a tailspin. The numbers don't lie. Canada and Mexico both depend heavily on the U.S., far more than the U.S. relies on them. 75% of Canada's exports go to the U.S., while Mexico sends nearly 80% of its total exports north of the border. In contrast, only 14% of U.S. exports go to Canada and 16% to Mexico, meaning the U.S. can absorb this trade war much better than its so-called allies. Trudeau's and Mexico's leadership may think they're making a power move, but all they're doing is setting their own economies up for severe economic pain. For Canada, this is economic suicide. Trudeau has already crippled Canada's energy sector, driven inflation to record highs, and overseen a decline in manufacturing. Now he's risking the entire economy on a pointless trade war with America. Meanwhile, Mexico is even more vulnerable. Its economy is deeply tied to American manufacturing and auto production, and Trump has never hesitated to hit Mexico hard when needed. Both countries are gambling with their economic futures, and they are playing against a man who never loses. Canada and Mexico are in no position to pick a fight with their most important trade partner, but arrogance blinds their leaders to reality. If they think they can threaten the U.S. without devastating consequences, they're about to learn the hard way. Trump will make sure both countries pay a massive price for their foolishness. FAFO.
You see, when you force women to cover up, then you're stopping them from being sex objects. That's why they insist, my dress, my choice. You don't control what I put on. So women enjoy being treated like sex objects. It's just that it's not politically correct to admit it. But when you want to control their sexuality, then they push back. It makes you realize they actually want to be seen as sex objects. And men who treat them as sex objects, these are the dark triad people. They are psychopaths, narcissists, and Machiavellian men. Those are the men who are most successful with women. And they're the men who women find most attractive.
Really?
Yes. They are the men who arouse desire in women. And you know, one of the things that our fathers did not tell us is there's a difference between being desirable and being attractive.
What is the difference?
Being an attractive man means you are a man who has money, you are a man who has resources, you are a man who can give a woman security. Okay? You can make her comfortable. You can give a creature comfort. That is being an attractive man. But being desirable is you are a man who can make her wet. She finds you physically attractive. You arouse lust in her. She wants to sleep with you. That's being desirable. Now, many men today, and that's what the school system has done, we are trained to get good jobs, to become nice men, to become, you go to church, you're a God-fearing man, you are a kind man. And women will tell you that. I want a man who is kind, a man who is God-fearing. Those are all attractive characteristics. They will not tell you about the desirable characteristics. That's why many men are raising children who are not theirs. Because you don't know what it means to be desirable. You only know how to be attractive. So she'll go and get the children of a man who is desirable and bring them to you to raise them.
Yeah, this is crazy.
That is it.
And painful.
5 years later,
By all
I was
facts.
haunted by the words he said when he left me. 5 years ago, I ruined everything. I was engaged to the kindest, most loving man I'd ever known. He was the kind of person who made everyone around him feel cared for, safe, and loved. We were planning our wedding. I thought we were going to spend the rest of our lives together. And then I made the dumbest mistake of my life. I kissed someone else. It was meaningless and I regretted it the moment it happened. The guilt was unbearable. I told him the next day because I couldn't keep it from him. I begged for forgiveness, promised I'd do anything to fix it. But he just looked at me like I'd shattered something deep inside him. He didn't yell. He didn't cry. He just said, "It's over," and walked out.
Wow.
I tried to reach him for weeks. He ignored every call and text. Eventually, I wrote him a long letter apologizing and asking him for one chance to talk. When he finally agreed to meet, I thought maybe, just maybe, we could work through it. We talked about our memories, the good times, the love we shared, all the dreams we had for the future. For a moment, it almost felt like old times. And then I asked him if he could ever forgive me. What he said next has been burned into my brain ever since. I hear it every single day, word for word, and it plays in my mind like a broken record. I hope someone comes into your life who makes you feel loved and safe just to betray you. I hope you spend every day wondering if the people you trust are lying to you. I hope you never feel secure in love again.
What?
I hope even when things seem perfect, there's a part of you that can't shake the doubt. I hope every "I love you" you hear makes you wonder if they really mean it. And when it all falls apart, when it breaks you, I hope you remember that this is what you gave me. He didn't say it to be cruel.
Whoa.
He wasn't a cruel man. He was the kindest, most selfless person I'd ever known. That's what makes it hurt so much. He said it because it was the truth, because that's what I did to him. He got up and left, but his words stayed. They live in my head, echoing constantly. Every night when I try to fall asleep, I hear them again. Every time I feel even a little happy, they come back to remind me that I don't deserve it. I've tried to move on, but I can't. I can't love anyone without doubting them. I can't trust anyone without waiting for the betrayal. Every relationship I've had since has fallen apart because of that fear, that voice in the back of my head telling me it's all going to happen again. I know I did this to myself. I know I might even deserve this, but living with it seems unbearable some days. I still know where he lives. He didn't move out of the apartment we used to share. He still works at the same company he did back then. I've kept track of him through mutual friends, though I've never asked him to relay anything back to him. I've watched from a distance as his life went on without me. And now, after all of these years, I'm thinking about going to him one more time to ask for forgiveness, to try and explain myself again, to tell him I've carried the weight of what I did every single day since he walked out. I don't even know what I'm hoping for. Maybe I just want to hear him say he's moved on, that he's happy, or that I can let go of the small, selfish part of me that wonders if he ever thinks about us. Or maybe I'm hoping he'll say he can forgive me, even if it changes nothing. I know I shouldn't. He deserves peace. I know my showing up will only dredge up old wounds, but I don't know how to let go of his words or the fact that I destroyed the only person who ever truly loved me. And then the top comment says, the kindest thing you can do is never to speak to him again.
Agreed. Move on.
Try and move on. Get therapy, girl.
Yeah.
You're going to need it. Because those words were harsh, though.
Yeah.
I was
how shocked I was. I know.
I was
my
yes.
mouth was open
you know
for
what?
a minute.
Do you know what? That is what cheating does.
Do you know what the best kept secret in the world is? Manifestation is a tool of the Matrix. The Matrix is the illusion of separation. It's a system of fear, limitation, and programmed beliefs that keeps you trapped in cycles of lack. The matrix is striving to make you forget your divine nature. It convinces you that life is a school, you are a student of life, and you are bound by karma and lessons, when in fact you are a creator who already has access to infinite love, infinite abundance, and unity. The premise of manifestation is rooted in lack. When you manifest, your idea is that you must bring into existence something that you desire, which in fact means that you don't already have it. You wouldn't be desiring it if you had it. So to desire, in essence, means to acknowledge that you are incomplete, which perpetuates this illusion of separation that it's being programmed into us for millennia. And this is what the Matrix thrives on. The truth is so much more liberating than this. You are not here to learn or to earn. You are divine. You already have this divinity. You don't need to learn it. You don't need to earn it. You are a physical expression of the spiritual energy that we call God. Quantum physics has come to the conclusion that you are actually God slowed down, if you want to think in terms of quantum physics. You are created in the image of God. It doesn't mean that God has fingers and toes. It means you have God's divine attributes. You are eternal, you are omnipotent, you are omnipresent, you are omniscient. You create your reality not by manifesting things into your life, but by imagining and aligning with your true nature. It is your Father's great pleasure to give you the kingdom. The truth is, the world that you live in is a reflection of your inner world. If you harbor negative thoughts, speak negative words, hold negative emotions, and take negative actions, you create a negative life. If you embrace love, kindness, compassion, gratitude, and unity, you live in abundance and peace. As a creator, created in the image of God, you have access to everything already. Everything you imagine and everything you can't possibly imagine, it's all available to you through the sheer fact that you exist. It's not a right, it's an attribute. The same way you were born with a heart, you were born with access to the kingdom. You don't need to desire anything because it is already yours. You're going to ask me, why can't I see it? Because you are blinded by fear, by limitation, and by the illusion of separation. You are blinded by millennia of subconscious programming that is geared towards keeping you stuck in this matrix. If we all wake up, the jig is up. Whoever's running the show, their empire will crumble. It is within our reach, just like the painting in the Sistine Chapel with God and Adam. All Adam has to do is lift his finger by this much. We simply have to stop believing that we are insignificant, puny, pitiful sinners, which we have been indoctrinated to believe for millennia. Are you willing to move your finger? Just a little bit. The key is not to focus on manifesting material things. That's why manifesting keeps you in the matrix. Instead, you must heal your soul to heal that veil that is blocking you from seeing who you truly are. I'm going to give you 5 steps to create your divine reality. 1, heal your soul and love yourself first. Release all beliefs of limitation.
Limiting
I'm not good
beliefs.
enough, strong enough, worthy enough. Fail if I try. Money is the root of all evil. Let go of all fear. Fear of failure. Fear of speaking your truth. Not being loved. Not being important. Fear of success. Fear of death. 2, reconnect with your inner child. Imagine who you would be if no one ever told you no. Visualize yourself as your pure, joyful 3-year-old self. Write a story of who this child would become. Focus on emotions, on dreams, on a sense of playfulness, not on material desires. 3, master your frequency. Live in the frequency of love and gratitude in your words, thoughts, your emotions, your actions. Visualize your ideal life, morning, day, and night, especially first thing in the morning, as soon as you woke up, and right before you fall asleep at night. Focused on feelings, not on things. 4, keep your vision sacred. Don't share it with people who may doubt you or envy you. Protect your creation. Let it unfold in alignment with divine timing and divine grace. 5, be like a child. Truly, I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Little children are obedient. Listen to their parents. Listen to your inner intuition. Listen to the inner voice who is God within you. Listen to that voice who guides you towards love. Little children are pure at heart. Little children are the closest you can ever get to God while we are in physical form. Little children play and imagine that they can be anything they want to be. Superheroes, firefighters, doctors, teachers, store clerks, actors, gymnasts, kings and queens, inventors. Your inner child did not dream of cars or houses or millions in their bank account. They imagined themselves living in a world of joy, of freedom, of love, of possibility, and of abundance. Tune into these pure desires. Tune into these frequencies. And you will tap into the divine blueprint of your life, your divine destiny. Stop manifesting. Start creating. Step into your divine nature. You and your Creator are one. I and my Father are one. The moment you let go of lack and step into gratitude and love, you align with your highest purpose, and the matrix becomes obsolete. The moment you realize that you are not here to seek, you are here to create, the matrix loses its grip on you. Ask yourself, who would I be if I remembered my divine nature today? And write it down. Imagine it. Feel it. Live it. That's all it takes. You are the creator. The time to remember is now. I love you.
Love you too.
The way is we believe that planning your day out, waking up early, starting with gratitude and tracking your habits. If you do those 4 things on a regular basis, that you will live the best version of your life.
Hold on. That was good. You got to go back. You got to give me that Cabañas way. Hold on. Say that again now.
The Cabañas way. We believe that if you plan out your day, you wake up early, you start with gratitude, and you track your habits. If you do those 4 things on a daily basis, that you will live the best version of your life. And yeah, we've proven it. I'm really proud to say that this is the 3rd year that we've actually tracked our habits on a daily basis.
Yep, the U.S. just received a grim death warning for all civilians, as the Philly plane crash may not be an accident, but a dark message for us to get out. People were absolutely terrified after the Philly plane crash was believed to be a dire warning that the U.S. is no longer safe, with many people not only saying the damages are unprecedented and don't seem like it's from a plane, but that we are now all fully under attack. Philly residents leave an eerie forewarning, even calling this a rocket, not a plane.
In my mind, I thought, like, what if the rocket would call it the rocket, right? There's always rockets coming in.
With many others nearby not only saying it sounded like a missile and seemed to have sped up when it came crashing down, but news sites report the aircraft disintegrated mid-air before it touched the ground.
Oh, really?
But it gets worse, as the damages on the concrete were described as a result of the nose of the plane hitting the ground. But experts say it's strange, as the nose of the plane is super sensitive, and this happens when it just hits birds. Of course, every accident is going to seem strange, and these are all just rumors.
Kuwait, they live like kings. The poorest person in Kuwait, they live like kings. And yet they're not paying. We make it possible for them to sell their oil. Why aren't they paying us 25% of what they're making? It's a joke.
This sounds like political presidential talk to me, and I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
Probably not, but I do get tired of seeing the country ripped off.
Why would you not?
I just don't think I really have the inclination to do it. I love what I'm doing. I really like it.
Also, it doesn't pay as well.
No, it doesn't. But, you know, I just probably wouldn't do it, Oprah. I probably wouldn't, but I do get tired of seeing what's happening with this country. And if it got so bad, I would never want to rule it out totally, because I really am tired of seeing what's happening with this country, how we're really making other people live like kings and we're not.
The most insane trade war has officially begun, because Canada, Mexico, and China are pissed and have now all announced their own plans on how to retaliate against Trump's tariffs. I mean, even at last night's NHL hockey game, you had Canadians booing the US national anthem. So what the hell is going on? Well, you see, yesterday Trump's promised 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico and 10% on China officially kicked in. And what that means is that any goods sent from these countries to the United States, well, they'll now cost companies 25% more, or 10% in China's case. So for example, if a Canadian business sent a car to the US that cost $50,000, today US companies will pay a $12,500 tariff at the border. But then, and here's the annoying part, they'll pass that cost down to you, the US customer. So the price of your once $50,000 car is now actually $62,500. But this doesn't make sense. Why would Trump purposefully make things more expensive for Americans? Well, two main reasons. The first is more of a longer-term, unguaranteed benefit, but it would be to change consumer habits to buy more American-made products and incentivize more international companies to manufacture in the US. In theory, that means a stronger US economy, more stable jobs, and less dependence on foreign countries. And the second reason for imposing these tariffs would be to use them as a tool to pressure Canada, Mexico, and China into doing what Trump wants. I mean, some of these things that he's publicly mentioned include renegotiating trade deals, stopping illegal immigration and the flow of fentanyl, and then there's also Canada becoming a state of America, but that's a bit more far-fetched. But here's where things get interesting, because instead of just doing what Trump wants, Canada have clapped back with a 25% tariff of their own, and Mexico said they're doing the same but haven't announced the percentage yet. China reacted in a little bit of a different way by preparing to file a lawsuit with the World Trade Organization. So why is Trump not backing down? Well, just listen to this. In 2023, Canada sent 76% of all of their exports to the United States. That accounts for roughly 19% of their entire GDP. In 2024, Mexico sent 78% of all of their exports to the United States. That makes up 37% of their entire GDP. But for America, their exports to both countries combined only make up roughly 2.7% of their entire GDP. So, simply put, even if they do retaliate, getting into a tariff war with the United States would hit Canada and Mexico much harder. Trump he knows this, and he's using it. It doesn't make it any less controversial, and it does still mean that people in all three countries will see a price increase. But it seems like, for Trump at least, that's just the cost of America winning.
There's a bill being proposed that'll put you in jail for up to 20 years for downloading DeepSeek or doing anything that helps to advance AI in China. And it's a real bill. I just went through it. It's from Senator Hawley, and I want you to pay attention to a few things, because if they came for TikTok, they're coming for this. So the CCP has a strategy called military-civil fusion. They believe that the first country to apply AI to next-generation warfare will achieve military dominance, which they're aiming to have by 2049. Part of their strategy is to become the world's leader in AI, big data, quantum computing, semiconductors, etc. So I don't fault Senator Hawley for trying to be proactive here. I just think this bill is pointless. First of all, you can't enforce this without becoming a surveillance state, which... well, second, there is a huge amount of ethnic Chinese researchers in the US building American AI, and the bill is so vague it could easily be weaponized to target American competitors through backdoor political cronyism. And third, I think this bill could hinder open source efforts. And I mean, I don't know what happened to the land of the free. I don't think that we should resort to banning. We just need to focus on competing. But I wanted to throw this out there because I think it's worth a conversation, and I really want to know what you think, because when it comes to the US versus China AI race, there is a lot on the line.
Here's the thing. When a woman genuinely likes you, you will know.
How would you know?
I'm getting there. First of all, women are obsessed with the whole idea of talking to the person that they really like, you know. They will constantly communicate, not when they want to ask you for something. They will talk to you to find out how you're doing in the morning, in the afternoon. They'll be all over you, you know. When a woman wants something from you or wants to use you, the conversation from the beginning will always be, I need this.
Do me a favor.
Please do me a favor. And men, please stop being that very good guy who doesn't know how to say no, because that also makes women start to take advantage of you. When you're every time she asks you for something, you always say, sometimes just for control, say no. Even if you can do it, say no. Then you will know if she really likes you. Because there's this thing that women do if they don't like somebody the moment they...
One of the biggest mistakes that men make in their dating life is going to be revealing their interest level through their facial expressions. Okay? They basically tell the woman, hey, I really like you. And they do this just by how they're smiling, how they're looking at her. So you always have to be aware of little things. If your eyebrows are raised really high and you look super excited when you're talking to her, it's going to decrease her interest. If you're smiling a lot and when you're looking at her, you appear to be super engaged in the conversation, it's going to decrease her interest level. Instead, lean back a little bit, okay? Lean back a little bit, chill out, act like you've been there before, and most importantly, you have to act as if you are used to being around other women at or above her current level of attractiveness. If you can do that by keeping your body language relaxed, you're going to appear cool, calm, and collected, and because of that, her desire will increase towards you because you show that you have a good amount of dating value that you bring to the table.
Breaking news, the United States will now start deporting U.S. citizens to prisons in El Salvador. In case you haven't heard, Donald Trump came up with a plan that he announced just yesterday where he's going to start deporting U.S. citizens to El Salvador to be imprisoned and serve their time. He is claiming that instead of the United States, where it costs about $80,000 a year to house an inmate, he's going to build massive scale prisons in El Salvador where he's going to house U.S. citizens and have them serve their time for a fraction of the cost. This is El Salvador's largest prison and one of the largest prisons in the world. And this is also what Donald Trump is going to model the prisons that they build in El Salvador after. Now, Donald Trump is claiming that this will only be for repeat offenders, but either way, sending U.S. citizens to another country to be imprisoned is a very scary and dangerous line to walk. And this begs the question, is Donald Trump really going to stick to the plan of only sending repeat offenders, or will he start sending groups of people that he does not like?
This is how your phone could be fueling a conflict in Central Africa. A rebel group called M23 claims it is now in control of Goma, a city in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Now, for weeks, the militia has been advancing on the city. Thousands of panicked families have been forced to flee the fighting, and at least a dozen UN peacekeepers and foreign soldiers are dead. In the capital, Kinshasa, fires were set around Western embassies, including the American one, by protesters angry at what they see as intervention in Africa's affairs. So why is all this happening? Well, M23 is a militia accused of mass atrocities, rape, and looting, and it is backed and funded by neighboring Rwanda. That's according to the United Nations, although Rwanda denies this. So why is Rwanda involved? Again, the answer may lie in your phone. The eastern DRC, where Goma is located, is rich in precious minerals used to build electronics. One of those minerals is coltan. And last year alone, Rwanda imported at least 150 metric tons of it by facilitating illegal mining through the M23 rebels in the DRC. Again, that's according to the United Nations. Now, Rwanda denies these accusations, but rights groups fear that M23 will expand its criminal enterprise into what some have called blood phones, putting the lives of millions caught in the chaos at risk.
When waiting for a stoplight, veteran drivers will turn the steering wheel to the left one turn. Do you know why? If we're waiting at a stoplight, there's a big truck in front of us. It's already very dangerous at this point. At this time, another big truck came up behind us and hit us. If we turn the steering wheel one circle to the left, then the big truck behind us that was tailgating would have pushed us out to the left. In this way, we escape the fate of being attacked from both sides, especially when you're waiting for a stoplight on a downhill road. You must be careful at this time, because the gravity and inertia of a big truck is not something we can handle. So this turn of the steering wheel can save your life. Did you learn it? Follow me. Learn more about cars.
Successful men are assholes. The reason why successful men turn out by sleeping with some woman, some intern, some mistress. And it's like, you're missing the point. The reason why he became the CEO and the president was to be able to do that. Like, that's the brass ring that's unconsciously held out for men.
The most fascinating thing about Bill Gates isn't his billions, tech genius, Jeffrey Epstein connections, or work with vaccines. It's that at 69, he's saying divorcing Melinda is the biggest regret of his life. Here's why this is shocking. After getting married in 1994, they built an empire together. The foundation, Xanadu Mansion, 3 kids, and Melinda was the core of the operation. During this time, legendary investor Warren Buffett noted, Bill was smart as hell, obviously, but in terms of seeing the whole picture, she's smarter. Yet, throughout their marriage, Bill was caught approaching other women and called Jeffrey Epstein's lifestyle very different and kind of intriguing. Through it all, Melinda raised their kids and ran their foundation until she finally divorced him in 2021, citing a loss of trust. Now Bill has a new 62-year-old girlfriend, but he's realizing something profound. Nothing can replace a woman who knew you before you were Bill Gates. As he says, there's a certain wonderfulness to spending your entire adult life with one person because of the memories and the depth of things you've done and having kids together. So while many people talk about a woman's value being her looks or her age, this billionaire is talking about the real value of a wife, something many men don't understand until it's too late. A wife's value is so much deeper than youth or beauty. She's the witness to a man's life, the co-founder of his legacy, and his support for his entire life journey. So here's the real question. Why do you think losing Melinda is Bill's biggest regret? Drop your thoughts below.
And we've come to the end of the video. This was a long one, but then very interesting and I enjoyed it. I hope you did as well. And don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and also share with your friends, and also click on the notification bell icon so that any video that I post, you will be the first to get it. Adios amigos, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye.